Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ball watchers. You are live with Jake Koenig and Justin Graham back on another episode, an installment of Ball Watching World Cup edition. We're getting low on the amount of content left here for us to produce, and it's making me sad already to think about a World Cup-less time for us because it's been so great this last month. But nevertheless, we still have the semifinals to go. The quarterfinals were absolutely incredible. I don't know how you could have drawn up a better storyline between some of these games and some of the results that actually happened. But before we get into agenda today, I think we'd be remiss if we didn't mention anything about what happened with Grant Wall. So for all those that don't know, Grant Wall is right now he was a soccer kind of freelance writer. He's most probably known for being a Sports Illustrated writer. And just being a media personality kind of throughout his career and covering soccer for the most of it. But fun fact about Grant, he was the first one to put LeBron on the map on Sports Illustrated, like did his first cover there. So when Grant did pass away, covering the Argentina-Netherlands games of all places, like he was doing his job and he passed like literally in the press box. I know they had to try to resuscitate him and bring him to the hospital. So obviously tragic circumstances, but the outpouring that he's received, like LeBron was one of those guys of just how much of an impact he's had in their lives. And Grant's been his whole life, really dedicated mostly to soccer and kind of championing the growth of the game, not just here, but the perception overseas as well. I had a quote here from the legendary British commentator, John Champion, who said that he was almost a missionary in this sense. He would travel around the globe telling people to take American soccer seriously. And if you ask any of the European football journalists who their first port of call would have been had they wanted a story in America, it would be Grant Wall, which just says a lot about him and what he was trying to do. So that's why you see U.S. Soccer Federation, MLS, extending their condolences to his family. And we do as well here. He definitely missed, and he's one that, we need more of those kind of voices that are really championing us and taking American soccer forward. So definitely want to offer up thoughts and prayers to Grant and his family.
Yeah, extremely sad situation. I still can't really get over it. I hope that there was no foul play or anything like that. But he was a great writer and a guy that really just did what we are attempting to do and just promote soccer in the U.S. So extremely sad.
Exactly. But in his memory, we definitely want to move forward with this and try our best to provide coverage for what we have. And that is some scintillating quarterfinals matchups that just closed out. 4 incredible games. Actually, the one I thought that was going to be the best would have been England-France. And to be honest, I think that was the worst of the 4 matchups when you see it play out. Like, because I was just on the edge of my seat. And not to say that one was bad, but when you look at the other 3, it's like, it's kind of hard to weigh that one against the other 3 because let's just get into it. I mean, Croatia, Brazil.
Yeah, you're not going to just looking at it from a very high level. 2 PKs in a game that was 1-0 when you're trying to stop Cristiano Ronaldo. It's hard to beat. But yes, let's get into it.
It is. Croatia-Brazil was what a way to start it off. I kind of talked through what Croatia was going to try to do, and I feel like they did exactly that. This team just battled Brazil. They just stuck in the game long enough, and they proved so resilient. And Pekovic, they're getting them back into the match. Like Croatia. When they got scored on, I was like, they're not. It just may not be in the cards for them this time around, and it just they found a way back into the game. You're like, how do they keep doing this?
I'm gonna give you a break because you're too excited. You're having trouble getting words out. But Brazil just needs to they should have put the game away. They had plenty of chances. When you score that goal after that, like I know, like a bunch of guys were talking about the refs and everything like that. It's like, no, when you guys are up 1-0 in extra time, end it and put it away. And they couldn't, and now they're out. So have fun at home.
That is a bummer. I still think Brazil is probably the best team in the tournament, and it just wasn't. They just ran up against a really, really tough side in Croatia. So kudos to Croatia.
Last thing I'll say on that, I'll never understand why you put your best PK taker 5th.
Yep. Doesn't make sense.
Get it. Neymar didn't even get to shoot a PK in what sent him home for a very long time. 3.5 years.
Crazy.
But where would you put yours, Jake? I know a couple people say first to get you on the right foot. I personally would put them 3rd because that's the last automatic spot. You don't even get a guaranteed 4th even. I understand the pressure builds, but at that point there's not as much pressure if you have your best PK taker go and nail one. So I don't know. I just didn't get that.
Right. And then another shocker just after on the 1 p.m. slot with Netherlands, Argentina. also going to PKs, but a very weird, different storyline. I mean, Argentina getting the early goal, I was like, oh man, this could be a uphill battle for the Netherlands. Because keep in mind, they don't really play that way. They haven't really had to play down at all. I don't think they were down at all in this tournament. So that was their first time doing that. You didn't really see anything change from them. So I'm like, man, they just probably don't have it. And then they went down 2-0. And you're like, oh man, it's over from here. Argentina, KO'd. No, they made some tactical subs. They showed us that they had this heart in them as well, and they clawed their way back.
Dude, that free kick, that was the coolest thing I've ever seen off the training ground. And the guy did it, like a year or two ago on his club team. Same exact free kick. If you look it up, just 3 guys to the left of their wall, have your out 2 guys essentially set picks, legal, illegal picks, whatever you want to call it, and finish it. That was awesome. That's heartbreaking. That was another sad one for me. I thought Netherlands could do it. You always want the team that beats you to go the furthest, and them losing next round isn't easy, but to a very good Argentina squad, deserving.
And no more Louis van Gaal. He's already actually been replaced. Ronald Koeman has already stepped in as their coach now, so we'll see how he fares for them. Next game, Morocco, Portugal. And I think we this is the one I thought we expected to be the most lopsided in the end, because Morocco had been so defensively strong throughout this tournament, but Portugal had just put up 6 on Switzerland, who I also thought was a good team, and it was not the story that we kind of saw panning out. I mean, I could not believe how well Morocco defended, and then Portugal just not great finishing either. They definitely should have put a couple goals in.
They had a couple chances, couple off the crossbar. That layoff, the first time I've ever seen Ronaldo lay a ball off. Great layoff, great shot there, and a save there. That's one of those games where it's like when they get down to the last 20 minutes, Portugal was dominant and was pressing, just couldn't put one away. Why didn't they start out like that? Morocco, those guys have bricks for feet. Did you see they had a couple chances to also be up 2-0?
Oh my God.
Easily. One of them with the goalie, the guy tried to chip him and put it in his stomach. It's like, come on, fellas. Like, I just don't understand why Portugal didn't go out from the start. Just like, hey, let's just put up 3 like we did last game and just close this thing out quickly. But another sad one.
First African nation reach a semifinal. Hats off to them.
Tight.
That's a cool feat, taking down Ronaldo in Portugal. I have my feelings on Ronaldo.
Last take. Really didn't shake hands. Essentially, jogged in the locker room, was crying. You're such a loser.
Yeah. Not a Ronaldo fan right now. England versus France, which was, I think, our biggest touted matchup, at least for the quarterfinals. And for the most part, it was a good game. I don't think France really hit 4th gear at any point during this game. They didn't look the best team throughout most of it. And it was, I would say, pretty even game. But in the end, Kane, that he hits that PK against Arsenal every single time he plays them. But all of a sudden, he skies it for the country. I mean, that's one of those things. I mean, I hate to say it. He'll remember that the rest of his life. Like that, that's a tough time to miss a PK.
Having a PK saved, that hurts, but completely missing the goal, and it wasn't even close. It was like a foot or 2 over the crossbar. I think he was thrown off that Lloris actually dove that way, and he tried to last minute sneak it a little higher, and then just absolute helium ballooned it. But I mean, I thought it was a great game. I thought England had better to play. They had better XG. And Mbappe didn't have a single XG point for himself.
He was pretty nullified.
Yeah, he did not look very good that game, but I'm not worried about it. We'll see him in the final. We'll talk about that later.
On to the semifinals. Our remaining 4 left in the World Cup 2022 edition. The first one, which is taking place on Tuesday, the 13th of December at 1 p.m. Central Time, is Argentina and Croatia. So history between these two teams. They've met twice in the World Cup. Argentina won that match in 1998. Croatia won very recently in 2018 in the group stage before they made their run to the final. But this is their first time in the knockouts. So their first really, really meaningful matchup. And odds to advance right now, keep in mind, advance, not win the game during regulation. Odds to advance on to the final. Argentina is minus 255, so pretty heavy favorite here. Croatia plus 205. But there's a lot more to talk about in this game.
We'll get more into the favorite bets and why later. I think Croatia, it's an extremely impressive team, and with how old they are, and they're moving the ball around, and I just think their legs are about to run out. I know they're one of the older teams. Modric has been playing so many minutes in this tournament. He is their engine. They're awesome. I have a bad feeling that this one's going to go Argentina's way. So like Jake said, and obviously you can see that in the odds, but give me a Messi goal. I would take that. It's just make it somewhat exciting. I'm a little scared this game's going to be a pretty boring 0-0 into the 80th, and then Messi puts one away or a PK or something. But We'll see. What do you think?
Yeah. My thoughts, I'll start with Argentina. I think they've looked a little bit shaky throughout this tournament, but obviously they're being driven by this destiny and this belief that this is Messi's purpose to be here and to take them back to the promised land and winning this World Cup. And I actually, as much as I disliked how they've kind of carried themselves, they actually were charged by FIFA but after their actions from the Netherlands game, like just taunting Netherlands players and kicking the ball into the bench. I don't know if you saw that. It was absolutely crazy. That was not a yellow card. But they actually did show a level of, I think, coolness and nerve, being able to stomach that late equalizer from Netherlands and even keel their heads and kind of level set again to go back to PKs, because that must have been emotionally just like a stab to the heart to give up that late of a goal to the Dutch. So I think kudos to them for that kind of that attitude. Their playing style at this point: get the ball to the Italians, but get the ball to Messi. I mean, he is their creator. He is their savior. He is their goal scorer. Everything they do at this point goes through him. It's gonna come down to what version of him shows up, and he's got everything on the line here. This guy's won so many different things. I have the stats here. He's won 10 Spanish league titles, 1 in France, 4 Champions Leagues, the 2021 Copa America, 7 Ballon d'Or awards, but not that World Cup. And this is all he wants at this point. So it's going to come down to Messi for me. If he's able to make that moment of brilliance, Argentina has a chance.
I think he will. I think he's going to score a goal. I think they're going to go through. I think Messi is the greatest player of all time. I think Ronaldo's a loser, but I think he's going to show it. I think he's really going to step up in this one. We'll see them advance.
Croatia. They have their own purpose. These guys refuse to go away. It is crazy. They beat Denmark and Russia on penalties, going to the Final Four in 2018. Now they just beat Japan and Brazil on penalties. They basically now played like an extra game of time due to taking all these games into extra time. They're trying to win a game in 90 minutes for the first time in 24 years for a knockout round game in the World Cup, which is crazy. These guys just love the distance.
It's insane when you think about the last World Cup too, and them going to the final. They didn't win a regular time game. Everything was stopped at your PKs. That's insane. It's crazy. That shows, and we'll talk about that too a little more with their players and like their playing style. I think they sit back. You have an incredible midfield, but these are not the guys that are going to hit you with wave after wave of attack. It's going to be kind of similar to Morocco, I'd say, when we're looking at lineups and matchups. They will find their one time and capitalize on it, and that's what they do. And so it'll be interesting when we think about how they're playing through that with Modric, Kovacic, Brozovic, anything with an itch. Yeah. These guys, they're all over, but it's just a solid team through and through.
Yep. I literally have my playing style for them is outwork and outlast. They will run themselves dead, and they will hope to hold you off just long enough until you tire yourself out, and they'll hit you. They'll hit you right there. So this game could be, like you said, a very, very long, maybe kind of boring game, not many goals until you get right to the late stages and you see who has the cojones to pull this one out.
I think it also I could definitely see an early Argentina goal, which will open Croatia up, and then maybe Argentina gets a second one and just puts them away. I'm excited for it regardless. Let's get into the next one.
You worry about them, just how long can this magic keep going? In a similar light, a lot of magic on the Moroccan side. Morocco v. France is our other semifinal showdown taking place on Wednesday, the 14th of December at 1 p.m. Central Time. These teams have met 11 times, never in the World Cup, and they haven't met period since 2007. Morocco's only won one of those 11 bouts. So France kind of has their number. France has everyone's number. They're one of the world superpowers in the sport. They're right now the defenders of the World Cup. Odds opening on this one right now currently are sitting at France to advance at -400 and Morocco to advance to the finals at +300. So a little bit more of a gap between these two teams here.
I know it's a heavy, juicy line at -400, but hammer it. There's no chance that France does not advance. Always get a little scared. We talked about that. If you guys are looking to bet money line for someone to win, that has to be in 90 minutes. If there is a draw, then you would not win. So always take the advance on whoever you think will actually go through, regardless if it's regular time, extra time, or PKs. But I would absolutely hammer that. They have the best player. I mean, we can get it. We'll get into Morocco first, though. I'll let you go first.
Yeah, let's talk Morocco first. Let's give them. These people have been our Cinderella story. They're kind of everyone's team at this point. Like we're happy for them to be there. And they faced Portugal, Spain, Belgium, and Croatia. They have not conceded a single goal by an opposition team. And those are some pretty decent teams I just rattled off there. The one goal they did concede was to Canada, and that was an own goal. So still not an opposition goal. Absolutely crazy for them to think about. Keep it. Hey, really quick. Who defeated the Moroccan national team 3-0 back in June? I think we might like this team.
It was us. It was the U.S. men's national team.
It was us.
Stats.
People forget that. And that was a pretty full roster.
Just some, but there's some guys on Twitter that are saying that we are ages away from being better, and the other games are way far better than us. But no, you're right. That stats don't matter.
Totally. I'm sure they were aware of that when they were making their takes. Yeah. So
it seemed very thought out.
So, I mean, Morocco, not just our team now, but also like the Qatari team, everyone's kind of around it. They've obviously traveled pretty deep with their supporters, but everyone's kind of like saying, let's throw our hand in the pot, go Morocco. They put in also like Croatia, so many minutes in their legs. They're playing every one of these games into extra time as well. Probably have played another additional game on top of all the games that we've actually seen them play from all that extra time. In a team with a similar style kind of to Croatia, probably less talent you'd think about, but still very, very astute defensively. They're not going to play this free-flowing game, but they're capable of producing some pretty cool things on the offensive side. Hakim Ziyech, Achraf Hakimi, 2 stars for Morocco, and they're capable. They had a really same kind of style they played in their quarterfinal game as they played against, as I expect them to play against here with France, but using that kind of mid block and really just kind of frustrating you in the middle, forcing outside, and then just smoking you on the counter when they can.
Exactly. I think they are similar to Croatia. I would say they're better defensively, but like you said, less talented. I mean, Hakimi is probably the only guy that can keep up with Mbappe in this game. They're going to need to capitalize on the one chance that they get, because I think that'll probably be it. I will say I was shocked. That dude that scored the header for Morocco, his vert has to be like 48 inches.
Yeah, vertical is insane.
Insane, which they need to do because their feet are bricks. But it'll be, hopefully they can hold France off to at least a later time, and this one doesn't get out of hand.
Also, that goalie was in no man's land as well. But still, I'm not going to take it away from that vertical. That was insane. Let's get on to players. We mentioned Hakimi. Obviously, he's one of their stars. Ziyech, one of their stars. And their goalie, Yassine Bounou, has been standing on his head for them, and he will need to continue that against France. This is their biggest test. They've had a lot of big tests, and I'm sure that's helped prepare them from this, but nothing can prepare you for the reigning title World Cup contenders. So we'll see how they fare. But France, get on to France. What do we got here?
Kylian Mbappe. If you haven't heard the name, Google it, look it up. It's awesome. I think Giroud also up top for them. Huge guy in the middle. He's been scoring a bunch of goals for them. I think, does he now have more?
He's the leading France all-time goal scorer.
All-time scorer. Yep. Yeah, sorry. Yep. But yeah, they, like you said, they just won the World Cup back 4 years ago. They would be the first team since Brazil 1962 to defend a World Cup successfully. So that's another stat. We're looking at 60 years now that has happened. So this team is definitely deserving of it. I think they are solid through and through. When you look at Hugo Lloris as their goalie, up there for probably the Golden Glove as the best goalkeeper, and then you work your way all the way up. Even though they don't have Pogba and Kante in the middle, they are still looking extremely dominant. What are your thoughts on like their playing style, though, Jake?
I think France is a team with so many different assets and so many different ways they can hurt you that they're going to find a way to do that to Morocco. They can hit you in the air through Giroud. Obviously, he wins pretty much everything in the air. They can hit you on the wings with their speed and athleticism. They can hit you 1v1 with the likes of Mbappe, who has also a little bit of speed and a little bit of goal scoring ability as well. And they have an incredible midfield. I think Tuchemi, or whatever his name is, that scored the opening goal for them, that guy barely even took a backswing at all with his leg, and just it was perfectly placed, perfectly paced. I couldn't believe he got that much on that shot. So that they have so many different ways they can hurt you. It impresses me.
When I saw that live, I looked at the guys. I'm like, he didn't face the goal at all. Like, was that not on Pickford or whatever the England goalie's name is?
Yeah.
But then I saw him like, no, I mean, but he had so much pace on it. I was shocked. I was like, all right, fine. I don't think that should have been saved. It could have been, but I was shocked with how well he placed that ball.
Yeah. France, it's hard to find a weakness with them. I actually would go to the goalie. I don't think Lloris is that good of a goalie. I think he plays for an incredible team, and he has a good defense, and they put enough goals up to cover up any sort of errors that he makes. But otherwise, I think they're solid, and they have depth. So it'd be really hard to see this game going anything other than France to advance. But not that this is going to be a walk in the park either. I think they're coming up against a challenge they should not take lightly in Morocco.
I completely agree.
let's get into some predictions slash best bets for the game. And full transparency to everyone, hopefully you did not tail the bets that we made in the quarterfinals preview. They were bad. And our defense,
No.
they were well informed, but who could have guessed what was going to happen and transpire in those quarterfinals?
Let's also take a step back real quick, Jake. They weren't all bad. I was 1-1. You were 0-2. And the France to advance one is the one you hammered. So depending on how much money you put on each one, you could have made money. With Jake, you're losing both your bets.
Yeah.
So Jake, let's get some positives. Can you bounce back after starting 0-2? What would you take in these games?
So I've actually got 2 for the Croatia-Argentina game. I'm diversifying my chances here. Knowing Croatia and knowing how Argentina kind of let Netherlands back in the game to equalize, I would put some money on the draw here. And when I say draw, obviously we know you can't tie in this game, but you can tie in regulation and force extra time. That is plus 245 right now. So really, really positive on the money side. If you want to put any sort of sprinkling on here, I think that could go. Croatia is known to do this. Argentina was known now just to let Netherlands back into the game. They haven't been blowing everyone out of the water through this World Cup. So I could see that feasibly. And in a similar light, the under in this game kind of looks appetizing. I could see that. I could see at under 2.25, like an Asian handicap. I'm not going to explain the Asian handicap on here, but betting under in this game, less goals, I think is looking like it might be the case. Argentina could get one, definitely. And I just think it's going to be a pretty low scoring affair.
I would agree with that. I think it's going to be a pretty defensive bout, that it's going to be a slower pace game, unless Argentina, like I said earlier, could put one away early in the game and then kind of opens up Croatia, and then it's a little bit more free flowing.
Yeah.
But I would agree. I think the one that I like there, the draw plus 245, very interesting and that's per 90 minutes. Obviously, there are no ties in the knockout stage.
Right.
But yes, I would agree. I would take the under for sure. I'd take the under. I would say 2.25 or 2.5. I would eat that juice at minus 140. Don't take 2 in case it's somehow a 1-1 tie.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, in that case, you would just push. But
you just push.
France-Morocco. Do you want to lead us off with this one? What are your thoughts on France-Morocco?
I mean, I'm going to lay pretty heavy on France to advance. That's just, yes, you'll have to put some more money in to win more money. You'd have to put 450 down to win 100, but I'm taking it, dude. I don't see them losing this game. Other than that, I don't know if I want to not hedge with that, but France to score 2 or more goals is minus 120 against a team that has not given up a goal in the run of play. So I don't know how I feel about that.
That's interesting.
I feel like that one could be an under, or it could be a blowout fest. So personally, I'm sticking with the easy bet, France to advance. What about you?
It's a safe play. The one kind of cheeky one I was thinking about was I think France is going to get on the board in this game in regular time. And if Morocco is the team they're trying to say they are, where they're just going to battle, fight, and claw their way into these games and stay in it, they would have to score a goal to even that up. And I think if France scores 1, they could probably score 2. So I had Morocco over a half goal, just meaning basically to score, at minus 110. So almost even money for Morocco to get on the board. And if you think they're going to be goals in this game, I would say that Morocco is going to have one of them. You think they're going to give themselves a chance to just stick around in this game if France is getting the board at all?
And then I saw you have on here the under 2 or 2.5 is plus 125 or minus 115.
Yeah.
I'm not taking the under in this game because you got to think about how Morocco's been playing and haven't given a goal and run a play. Great. But if you were ever to look at a friendly and it's France versus Morocco, I would expect France to win this game 7-0. So that's what I mean. It's going to be intriguing. I know Morocco. You have to look at it in the most recent games, not just the names of the teams. Don't judge a bunch by cover. But
of course.
I think France wins it and just take them to advance.
Yep. I agree. That's all we got for you here. Your semifinal preview for the World Cup 2022 in 25 minutes or less. Just a few quick mentions before we head on out of here. We're getting closer and closer to the holidays. As we speak to you all, you're listening to this on the 11th or 12th, probably right before the semifinals. Head on over to Series 6, either storefront on the Boulevard in Brentwood or online and use code BALLWATCHING for 15% at checkout. They've got some really cool Christmas sweaters, actually, I saw recently and tweeted out. There's a really cool Budweiser, ugly but not ugly at all Christmas sweater that I'm really tempted to hop on and grab for some parties coming up here. But they've got so much cool gear, and there's new arrivals, I feel like, constantly. So go check it out. And if you don't like what it is now, go check it out in a week or two. There's so many cool things.
I couldn't agree more. I think one of the things that I've been pushing at my office, if you guys have like one of those Secret Santa things, like $25 or less,
Yep.
if you use our promo code, you can get a shirt for like $22. And it's something local, supporting local. Do it. Go out there, use Ball Watching at the website, or go to the storefront. Sammy will be there. She's awesome. Go check them out.
Absolutely. And follow us on Twitter, Instagram at BallWatchingSTL. Check this out at YouTube. Tell your friends, tell your parents, tell your cousins, tell everyone. This is we're on the home stretch here. This is it for the World Cup. So everyone tune in on Tuesday and Wednesday this week. Give this a listen, shoot it around, and we'll catch you on the flip side for the final preview.
See you next time.
Everyone enjoy your week. Take care.